How old are you?
19,
What year were you born?
2005.
All right. And what do you got for us?
It's kind of expensive being vegan.
I'm sorry?
It's kind of expensive, too expensive for me.
Expensive?
Yeah, too expensive for me.
What's expensive?
All the fake meat and stuff. I'm going to Whole
Then
Foods
don't buy
and
it.
finding.
Then don't buy that. Just buy something cheaper, like rice, beans, pastas, things like that. Those are some of the cheapest foods on the planet.
I feel like don't you have to like keep checking like the back of it and making sure it doesn't have like anything animal related?
Yeah, but it's like learning. It's like learning a new. It's like learning a new hobby, right? Or like learning how to ride a bike. It just yeah, maybe for the few couple weeks, it's hard, but then after a while, you're used to it. I don't even think about it anymore. Like I know what to look for now, so that's not a concern.
Yeah, that's for me just that. But like I did think it'd be like a lot healthier being vegan and stuff.
You could be. You can also be unhealthy as a vegan. You could be healthy or unhealthy as a vegan. There's no. It's up to you. It's up to your diet.
Yeah, that's all I had to say.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
So I was on board with being vegan. I tried it for 5 months. Let's just say I was not a happy person, man. I was very, very like ill at times. So I went back to eating meat, and I am a much happier person now. My physical being, everything is better.
Okay. Do you understand that? Did you consult a nutritionist?
So no, but I did my like I've done my research. So I tried eating like what most vegans tried eating at when they first hop on the diet, but it didn't work out for me, man.
Well, look, you got to consult an expert on this, right? Look, you can be very healthy as a vegan. There's no reason why you should have failed. There's no reason. Okay, there's just no reason. You should have talked to an expert and talked to them so that they can help you, right? And there's many free people they can go to and talk to about this. Nutritionists out there, challenge22.com. There are many resources out there for you. So again, you have to understand the reasons why you're vegan and stay on it. You can't just go, oh, I was dizzy one day and then I ate meat and I'm better. It's not how that works.
It's
You,
not.
you can be very healthy as a vegan, and
You can be, but I'm saying it's subjective for person to person. You can't just say one or the best vegan diet fits everyone. Like for instance, for me, I mean, I was eating. Say what?
veganism is not a diet. Right? It's you're talking about being plant based, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
there are some plant based diets that are better than others. It's your job to understand which ones are better. Beans, pastas, whole foods. Those are some of the most healthy foods: fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds. Those are things you should be eating in your diet.
I agree with you, but I'm saying so. Let's take into the fact that like say I wasn't happy doing that. Why should I stop myself from eating meat?
What do you mean you weren't happy?
Just my overall well being. Like I was not a happy person. I was
Like you were
doing bad
upset
at
because you had to. Why were you upset though?
like in all phases of my life, like fitness, my job, everything took a downturn when I
Why?
tried.
But that's why you should have talked to a nutritionist. And by the way, you don't know if this was caused by your diet. Like you
I
wouldn't
mean,
know that unless you talk to an expert. You don't know what happened. You don't know if it was the diet.
it was the
How
diet
do you know it? How do you know it was the diet?
because whenever I went back to eating meat and my like how I was eating before, I was doing better with my fitness goals and I was doing better at my job and I was a happier person.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Look, I could I can go on a different diet and feel better. Okay, and the problem is that you don't know if it's actually the diet or just placebo or some other factor. Maybe you were sick on the other diet and then you wanted another, and then you weren't sick anymore. There could be many factors at work here. You can't just suggest it must have been the diet without even understanding what you were consuming or talking to an expert about it, right?
I mean, it's not like I went
Again,
in.
this is why I don't like talking about health, because it just derails the conversation.
So it's not like
It's about the animals, right? We're talking about the animals here. And to me, you can be very healthy as a vegan. Yes, everybody can be healthy as a vegan because it's not a diet. It's an ethical stance.
so.
That's why you can be vegan.
Well, that you're the way you're getting into it. Yes, everyone can be healthy, but will everybody be happy?
Yes, everybody can be happy and be vegan.
You
Period.
can't say that, bro. It's
Yes,
subjective.
you can, because it's not a diet. Do you
So,
understand what that means?
okay, well,
Okay.
being vegan, I'm agreeing with you, right? So say you are vegan. I'm not going to argue from the diet standpoint. Saying everybody will be happy or could be happy, that's subjective, bro. You can't speak for everyone.
Again, you didn't listen to what I told you. It's not a diet. Everybody can be happy as a vegan because it's not a diet. Number two, what do you mean you're happier? How are you gauging if you're happy or not happier? It's so just arbitrary. That's why you should have talked to an expert who can guide you as to how to do better in your diet. You're not understanding that there's so many other factors here. Rather than, I ate meat, now I'm happier. That's nonsense. That's baseless nonsense. Right?
Well,
You gotta
I mean,
look at the data.
when you compare what, it's not the data, bro. It's my personal experience.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the data, right? You're just saying based on your feelings, right?
Yeah, my feelings, bro.
Right. Your feelings don't really matter according to the facts.
Well,
right?
when you talk about an ethical standpoint, that's subjective, bro. Just because you think it's not ethical to eat meat, then that doesn't make it not ethical as a fact. That's subjective.
I'm not saying it's a fact that it's ethical. What I'm saying is that you are considering a fact that you have to be happy you can only be happy as a meat eater. That's not a fact.
For me, I can.
No, you haven't shown that because you have no data to show that.
Bro, what am I going to do? Give you a source for my personal experience?
Yes, you should have talked to a nutritionist. You should have been guided by somebody who is an expert who can help you in this regard. But you didn't.
Okay, well, let's just say I did my due diligence research. Obviously, I didn't have a one-on-one coach, but I mean, I know my body pretty well, and I know what makes me happy.
Yeah, but you understand that you don't have any data, right? You don't have any data, so you can't say anything as a fact. You're just going based off what you feel, and that's never a good way to gauge what's true.
Yeah, but when you're talking about what's ethical and what's not, it's subjective, bro.
I understand it's subjective, but that's a different thing. You're talking about morality. You're talking about what makes you happy. Okay.
So is it not? So would you say it's factually not ethical for somebody to eat meat?
No, it's not fact. I don't think morals are facts, but I still think it's wrong to eat meat because you're slaughtering an animal, you're harming an animal, and you're taking its rights away. So
Okay,
yes, it's wrong. It is. Or to me, it is wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Okay, so you're talking more of what's right and what's wrong rather than what's not a fact.
So now, what justifies doing it to the animals? What justifies harming animals in your view?
In my view, yeah, I mean, I can give you my view. I'm not gonna sacrifice my happiness because of another animal.
No. What morally justifies slaughtering animals?
So I can live a better life.
Okay, what do you mean better life?
I'm a happier person when I eat meat.
Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer was happier when he ate people. Would that make it okay for him to eat people?
Yeah, but then we're getting into cannibalism.
Would it be okay for Jeffrey Dahmer to eat people if he was happy?
I can speak for myself, and that's not okay.
Sir?
I'm not speaking for Jeffrey Dahmer.
If I were happy because I ate people, would that make it okay to go ahead and murder people?
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Okay, great. So in the same sense, just because you might be happier as a non-vegan doesn't make it ethically okay.
So when you're talking about like not every animal is slaughtered in a brutal way. Some get slaughtered in a painless way.
That doesn't make it okay because you're still killing it, right? Just like if I were to kill a person with no pain, it's still murder. It's still wrong. Right, so just because you're killing an animal with no pain doesn't make it okay.
Well, you're killing plants.
Plants aren't sentient. Animals aren't.
Well, if it's painless, it being sentient doesn't matter.
Well, the problem is that you're still taking an experienced life away, right? An animal's still experiencing life in a way that a plant cannot. Plants don't have experience at all.
it's still sentient. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's not sentient. It's still a life.
Well, but it's still experiencing a life, and it still has intelligence. It still has the ability to live a very good life. Plants don't have any of that. They don't have brains. They don't have nervous systems. They have nothing.
Let me ask you a question, man. So the house that you're living in right now is made out of wood. You're justifying cutting down trees and ending a plant's life for you to live in a home.
Yeah, because it's a
That's
plant. It's
that's
just a
kind
plant,
of,
sir. It's just a
you can't
plant.
just say it's a plant if you're going to say that for animals.
Look, plants are not sentient. They're not experiencing. So we think it's okay to kill a plant,
And that
right?
makes it
Just like
okay.
bacteria, right? Like, do you cry when you brush your teeth because you're killing bacteria? No, it's not something we consider morally.
Cool, man. Well, hey, good talks. You have a good night.
All right, thank you. Keep tapping, guys. We get more people in here.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so I don't know how to like start it. I just feel like when we were how do I say like Neanderthals, not Neanderthals, but like other, you know what I'm trying to say. Like we hunted for food and like, we did what like everybody else do. You feel me? Like and you feel like it was like this is in our nature to do that. Like
Right.
I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's in our nature to do it, right? Does that mean it's okay every time something's in our nature that it's okay to do?
No.
Right. So, like, it's in our nature to murder. Like, we can do that. It's part of our nature. It doesn't make it okay to murder, right? There's lots of terrible things that are part of our nature. It doesn't make it okay to do those things. So, yeah.
I see what you're trying to say. I just I I do believe that like it's wrong because like it caused suffering for animals. Like I just don't know how I could like give up meat though. Like
You just
it
stop
tastes so
doing it. You
good.
just
Like I know it sounds stupid, but like it tastes so good. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree that I used to like the way meat tastes. I agree with you. But look, you're not understanding that it's the animals. There's somebody behind that meat, right?
Yeah.
There's a being, a someone with a personality, with feelings, life, and experience that we shouldn't take away. So the taste is less valuable to me than their life, than their experience of life, and that's why even though it might be tasty, it still is not worth it. It's not justified.
All right. Well, that's all. So yeah, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Most vegans we used to consume meat. We understand that it tastes good to you. But what tastes better than that is life, is experience. That's more important. Life is precious. Just like a person's life is precious, so is an animal's life. Can you guys hear the guest? It's not working for me. Hello?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
how old are you?
30.
All right. And what justifies slaughtering animals?
Do you think it's nuanced at all? Like, I can kind of understand wanting the aversion to not slaughter intelligent animals like cows who understand that their babies are being ripped away from them and stuff like that. I see the inhumanity in that. But what about like a fish whose central nervous system is basically robotic and they essentially don't have thoughts?
They do. Fish have thoughts, feelings. They can feel pain as well.
Fish, What kind of what do fish think about during the day?
I don't know what they think about, but
I know you don't.
they've been shown to have thoughts. They've been shown to have feelings. But again, I agree with you that there are degrees of sentience, there are degrees of experience,
Right.
and yeah, there's gray areas, right? There are some shellfish maybe that don't have nervous systems, maybe they don't feel pain at all, and some vegans think it's okay to eat shellfish. It's a gray area. There's a gray areas to everything, but the main thing you're missing is that the billions of cows you're slaughtering per year, right? You're missing all that. So that's the elephant in the room right now, right? What justifies slaughtering all those animals like cows, pigs, and chickens that we do by the billions?
Well, I mean, we also are an animal ourselves, right? Like we're the most sophisticated mammal on the planet. Tons of other mammals eat other mammals. It just seems to be a part of nature here on Earth.
I agree. A part of nature is consuming other animals. But now it's also natural to shit in the forest. But we don't do that anymore, right? We don't just shit on the ground. We shit in toilets. We have civilization. We have
Right, because toilets are convenient, and so is eating steak.
No, it's not just convenience. It's also what we do morally speaking. It's to us we've also become sophisticated in ethics.
Well, shitting in the woods would also pollute our
ethics, and we now think it's wrong to just shit in the floor.
Well, shitting in the forest would pollute the environment.
It's not. It would be convenient to shit on the floor, but it's still ethically wrong.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. It would be super inconvenient to shit on the floor.
It'd be very convenient to shit on the floor and walk away instead of running to the toilet.
So I shit where I'm eating my cereal,
or peeing on the side of a building instead of having to go outside or something.
Well, people do that, but shitting in the forest would pollute.
But we see that it's ethically wrong. Right,
but
not just
your point that shitting. Well, we used to shit in the environment, but now we don't. Like the woods, sorry, that would pollute the environment. If everyone, there's 8 billion people on Earth right now. If we all shit in the woods all the time, eventually that would pollute our environment. It would actually be unhealthy to be around feces.
Okay, so you think it's better to save the environment?
No, it would be bad for us because you can't be around feces.
No. Do you think it'd be morally better to protect the environment than to harm it?
Would it be morally better to protect the environment as opposed to harming it? As a general rule of sense, sure, but there are nuances.
So then go vegan because vegan diets save land. They protect the environment tremendously. They lower greenhouse gas emissions. There have been many studies on this showing that vegan diets reduce environmental impacts.
You keep mentioning these studies that you've so-called read, like, for example, that you said that fish have thoughts. I'd love to cite these sources, but if everyone went vegan, wouldn't we have to make a lot more land farms?
Precisely the opposite. Because most of our crops we grow are being fed to the animals. 70% of the crops we grow are being fed to the animals because the animals got to eat something, right? So we have to grow crops just to feed them. If we just went vegan, we'd just go right to the crops, and we'd save so much more land.
So less animals would eat the crops, but then more humans would. So,
but we need less crops than the animals because the animals need way more food than we do.
Says who?
The evidence. So a study called Reducing Food's Environmental Impacts to Producers and Consumers. It's been an Oxford study demonstrating that we would save about 75% of land if we all went vegan.
I think at the core of this issue, we just have different worldviews. And I think that I'm a mammal who's just at the top of the chain. And unfortunately, we're so intelligent that you feel empathy. And I'm sorry that you do. But I view it intrinsically as that we're mammals just like other mammals. And that's just how nature works. I know that's upsetting for you, but there's a lot of nutritional value to meat, and I'm going to continue to eat it as most mammals do.
There's nutritional value in all kinds of stuff, like people. Does that mean we should eat people because we're nutritionally heavy?
If a situation presented itself where I needed to eat a human to survive, I would.
You can get all the nutrition you need.
Why did you just answer? You asked me a question and answered for me and didn't even let me answer it. You say, should we eat humans? No. If you're going to ask me a question, let me answer it. That's the point of asking a question. I think, yes, I would eat a human if I had to survive.
but you don't. Just like you don't need to eat the animals to survive.
It also depends genealogically, like where you are, like your lineage, what they ate thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago affects your digestive system now. So I come from.
Okay, so then instead of I can guarantee you that consuming meat is not going to be any beneficial to you than just being vegan. There's no evidence of that.
Well, actually, there is evidence to suggest that people who come from places that were very cold evolved around the consumption of meat, as opposed to people who
there's
live
no
in very
evidence that
hot
they have
climates.
to. There's no evidence that they have to eat meat. You can still be vegan and be.
You don't have to, but a lot of vegans also run into health troubles, especially if they don't know how to perfect their diet.
Look. There's this kind of notion that vegans have to be perfectly healthy. No, there are some very unhealthy vegans, and there are some very healthy vegans. Just like there are healthy meat eaters and unhealthy meat eaters. So
Correct.
stop with the health stuff and recognize that you can be healthy either way. The problem is that you're slaughtering animals who don't have to die, and that's the ethical problem with meat eating.
I would pay. I'm on board with paying more for beef that was treated correctly.
What's treated correctly mean? What does treated correctly mean?
Obviously, you've seen footage of like slaughterhouses where they're hung upside down and they have their throats slit. A lot of videos have leaked where sometimes these workers are torturing the animals for fun, and it's disgusting. And I'm with you there. But I think at the core of this issue, we just have a differing worldview. And unfortunately for you, vegan isn't.
You didn't answer the question. What is the correct way to slaughter somebody look like?
Well, you could give them a full, healthy life and then, I don't know, shoot it in the back of the head.
Okay. So if I had a child and I let them live a perfectly good life, and then at 6 years old, I shoot them in the back of the head, that's a correct way to slaughter somebody?
You keep relating animals to ourselves. You know that like very few animals on planet Earth eat their own kind, right? But you keep using this as an extreme argument when, no, obviously I don't think killing a baby or killing a person is okay, but I am a human.
What's the difference between humans and non-human animals that would justify slaughtering them, but not us?
Because I am a human. That's the difference.
I know you're human, sir, but what's
like most tigers, they don't eat other tigers, right? Like they prey on deer.
Okay, I agree, but you're saying that you think it's okay to slaughter an animal because they're not human. But how about a dog? Would it be okay to slaughter a dog? They're not human.
Did I say that it was okay to slaughter a animal because it's not human? No, I said I don't want to eat human or kill babies because I am human.
But you rather kill a pig, right? Because they're not human.
I'm okay with killing pigs to feed myself. Yes.
Okay, so you don't.
In the same way that if you were at a home, hold on. In the same way that if you were at a homeless shelter and had a daughter, and there was other hungry children around, but you had an apple, and let's make it vegan. Let's make it a little more friendly for you. You had an apple. Every daughter was hungry. They weren't going to survive if they didn't have the apple. Would you just give it to whoever made the best case, or would you give it to your daughter? You'd probably just give it to your daughter.
I agree. But you're missing the point here. The point is that
you're missing my point as well.
You haven't shown a significant difference between a human and a pig or a dog that would justify eating the pig, but not the person.
Yes, I did. The fact that I am human, in the same way tigers don't eat tigers, I am also an animal.
There it is. So
we're just too intelligent. We're just too intelligent that you feel bad because they have sad faces, and I'm sorry. But the world, veganism isn't catching on the way you wanted it to, and that sucks. I get it because you're a vegan and you want others to, acclimate to you, but that's just not how.
Okay,
this is not how it's going. So, that's unfortunate, but you're gonna have to accept the fact that veganism isn't going to be the normal ever.
So let's go back to the logic here. All right, so you just said before that you rather kill a pig because they're not human. Is that your justification? They're not human?
I am okay with killing animals to consume nutrition. Yes.
No. That's not what I asked you. What morally justifies slaughtering a pig? Is it because they're not human and you are human?
because I'm, as a mammal, like many other mammals, kill other mammals to feed myself. Yes.
It's not what I asked you. Let's try again. Is it the fact that you're human that makes it morally justifiable to slaughter a pig? Yes.
No, dude, I've said this, I've answered this multiple times. It's not just that I'm human. I'm just saying me being human is the reason that I won't eat other humans.
Okay,
But it's not that I'm specifically
great.
a human.
Great.
It's not
So
that I'm
then-
specifically a human that I'm allowed to kill a pig or anything else.
So then,
Tiger would also.
so then your reason for slaughtering a pig, justifying it, is that you're a mammal who has to survive, correct?
I know where you're going with this, and
Yes or no, sir? Yes or no?
no, I can choose to eat whatever I want.
So what's the reason for slaughtering a pig, but not a person?
Because I want to consume their meat because it's good and nutritious.
I know you want to, but what's the
Right.
reason that justifies doing that action?
Yeah, the reason is that I want to.
Okay, so you're saying I want to, therefore good. So if I
I want to, therefore I will.
So if I want to grape somebody, that would be a good thing to do to grape because I want to.
No, different scenarios have different standards.
Okay. So then you can't say I want to, therefore good.
I can because that's how society currently operates.
Okay. Would you rather slaughter an innocent being or eat a plant-based option instead?
It depends on what the dish is. Like, for example,
Would you rather slaughter an innocent being or
for
eat a
example,
plant-based
I would
option?
rather eat sautéed onions with good seasoning versus a pork chop. I don't like pork chops; they're dry. I like sautéed onions.
Let me try again. Would
Yeah.
you rather make an innocent animal suffer or eat a plant-based option?
I wouldn't want to make them suffer, but I'm okay.
There you go. There you
I'm
go.
okay.
Thank you. Shh. There you go. So you agree that you don't want to make them suffer. So then you shouldn't. To be consistent, you should not make those animals go through torture and make them be slaughtered for you, right? So you should be vegan by your own concession. This means you ought to be vegan because you don't want animals to suffer. Okay? Go ahead. Unmute your mic.
I said I don't want them to suffer, but I will eat their meat.
But that's hypocritical, right? I don't want to harm somebody, but I want to do it.
I don't want to harm a criminal, but I'll do it if he's in my house.
But animals are not criminals. They're not in your house. They're
I never said they're criminals, but
okay. So then you have no good justification for slaughtering animals by your own concession.
Says you, but the rest of society disagrees.
Says you.
No, it says you, dude. Most of society is
what's
okay
your
with getting
reason?
meat.
Then
You're
what is your
going to
reason?
have to accept this.
Then
I know
what's
you
your
don't like it. I know you don't like it, and you can talk all day and fucking try and catch me up in your logical loopholes. But at the end of the day, like any other mammal, we can choose to eat meat, and we will continue to do.
I agree. We can choose to eat meat. I can choose to eat you. I can choose to eat your mom. But the problem is that these aren't the right decisions to make. Right? There
Says
are right
you.
decisions and wrong decisions.
Says
And
you.
so far,
Says
you
you.
haven't justified your decision.
I have. I want to, therefore I will.
So does that?
And that's
you wanna run
how
society?
almost.
If I
and
want
that's
to
how
rape
almost
somebody,
every
I will.
culture works.
No, Joe. We just went over this. You don't want to make them suffer, but you do. You do it. You're hypocritical. So you can't just say, "Oh, I want to make them suffer now." Which is it? Do you want to make them suffer, or you don't want to make them suffer?
I explained this already. I don't want to, but I will to feed myself. And that's how all of society works.
You don't have to feed yourself with those animals. You can eat something plant-based.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Okay. So why do you want to make the animal suffer then?
Well,
Which
are
one's
you,
more-
dude?
which one's
are
more
you,
important to you?
No, are you brain dead? Are you brain dead? I've said multiple times I
Please
don't
don't.
want to make them suffer, but I will eat their fucking meat. I don't personally want to make them suffer, but I will buy steak at a grocery store and eat it.
Okay, well then that's making them suffer. What you just said to me is
I don't want to, but if it happens, I understand that.
hold on. What you said is I don't want to make them suffer, but I do want to make them suffer. That's what you said.
You're
Because-
retarded, dude.
Don't say that. Don't say that. That's rude.
You are though. I don't want to make them suffer, but I will
that, sir.
pay. But I will. I don't want to, but I will.
Okay, so you understand that entailed by eating animals is making them suffer and die, correct?
I understand that they may suffer as a consequence of me buying their meat,
Okay,
but
so
that doesn't
then
mean
there
that
you
doesn't mean
go.
that I
So then,
want to
there you
do it.
go.
That doesn't mean that I want to do it, but I'm willing to. I'm willing to. And so is most of society, and you're going to unfortunately.
I don't care if most of society doesn't agree with me. I know that most people disagree with me. But that's not how movements occur. We don't just go, oh well, we got to continue slavery because most people have slaves. It's not how this works. Even if it's one person talking, that's enough to make a movement happen. Okay, so that's nonsense. Second of all, you're forgetting that entailed by consuming meat is the process by which it gets to your plate, which entails suffering and harm and rights violations and death, all of which are less important, or it's more important to obtain their right, maintain their rights, than to eat a steak. That's all.
Hi, man.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'd love to have a respectful conversation with you. I'm not going to call you any names, and I respect your opinions. But my views differ a bit from the previous guy. I have no problem with the suffering these animals have to go through for me to have meat on the table.
Okay, so you have no problem if I just went up to a dog and started slicing its neck open? That'd be okay to you?
No, because that serves no purpose
okay.
to me.
Oh, okay. So as long as it serves a purpose to you, then the suffering is justified, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So a person, I make them suffer, but it's for you to eat their meat. That'd be okay to you to eat that person because they suffered for you?
No, I'm not interested in eating human meat.
Oh, but they suffered for you, right? So it's not suffering that matters.
Well, I'm only interested in the meat from certain animals, and that meat is worth the animal suffering for.
Oh, so if you were interested in eating human meat, then you would be okay to eat human meat. So if I like the way human meat tastes, I can go ahead and murder people for their meat?
No,
Oh, but I thought you just said you're interested in, if you're interested in this type of meat, that you have justification for eating those beings. So you're
but
being hypocritical.
no, you have to differentiate between certain values here. So we have we're valuing human life differently from animal lives. Most of us, at least.
What's
You
the
don't,
difference? What's
which
the,
I
what's the
totally
morally
respect.
relevant difference?
Huh?
What's the morally relevant difference between an animal and a non-human animal?
That we share commonalities and we are from the same species.
Oh, so it's species that matters too.
We're intelligent and so on. It's more complicated
Oh,
than
so
just
what is it?
species.
So it's intelligence that matters?
A lot, yeah.
Intelligence? Okay. What else is there? Intelligence? What else?
The fact that we're the same.
The
That
species? Same species? Okay.
Yeah, it's built into us that
Okay. So let's tear
killing
this down one
humans
by
is
one.
wrong.
Let's go to intelligence.
Sure.
As long as someone's intelligent, that I won't harm them. What if someone's not intelligent? What if there's a mentally handicapped person? Go ahead and slaughter that person.
No, you can't zoom in on one point.
Okay. So then
more
intelligence
complicated
doesn't
than that.
matter. So then intelligence doesn't matter here.
Oh, it does.
Traits
It's a
equalize.
part of the equation, but it's not the full equation.
It cancels out. But it cancels out in the equation, right? Because when it comes to the
No.
pig, who's not intelligent to you, it's the same now as the human who's not intelligent. They're the same, so it cancels out.
They're not the same. One is a pig.
In that
and one is a
regard,
human.
in the intelligence regard, they're the same. So that trait's equalized.
But you have to think about the what's surrounding the pig and what's surrounding the
Do you understand
human.
what I just told you, sir? Do you understand what I just told you? This is very important.
Intelligent mother and intelligent father that cares for this
Listen, this is
person
very
and so
important to
on.
understand.
Yeah.
Those two beings, the baby or the person who's mentally disabled, and the pig are the same intelligence level. Do you agree?
I do, but I'm also telling you that
Okay.
that
Okay,
is not the
great. So
only
then those
point on
traits are
which you can
equalized. Those
judge.
traits are equalized. Those traits are equalized. They cancel out. Now we go to the next one. You said species, right? Oh,
Hmm?
humans are our own species. So, how about a dog? Would it be okay for you to slaughter a dog because they're a different species?
No.
So then it's not species. You're being contradictory, right? You have engaged in a logical contradiction, rendering your argument invalid. So
I
you have no justification for slaughtering pigs or cows. You have nothing at all.
the justification for, or actually the reason I wouldn't kill a dog is because the way we judge that as a society. Me personally, if I don't have a connection to that dog and I know that no other human has a connection to that dog, I wouldn't care for it more than
Okay,
a
so
cow or a pig.
okay, great. So if society deemed African Americans or Black people as not inferior to the other people, if society said that, would that be okay to enslave Black people?
No, back to the whole
Oh, okay. So
sharing
then
society, like
it's
sharing
not society that
species.
tells you what your morality is. It's not
It
society.
is. It is.
Well,
It's a part of it.
in that example that
But
I just presented to you, it wasn't
yeah.
society.
Well, the species argument comes back in there. You see, you can't zoom in on one argument and then rule that out and then move on to the next one because it's an equation with multiple inputs and one output, a yes or a no.
We already went through all the inputs, sir, and we equalized them.
We didn't because
We
one
just did.
doesn't. You can't
We
cancel
went to the
one.
intelligence. I showed you the pig example. You went to the species. I showed you the dog example. You went to society. I showed you the society example of Black people enslavement.
You
I
didn't
showed you
because you
that
compared an
all the
unintelligent
justifications
human
don't
to a
make up.
pig. And when it's an unintelligent human, that human still has a mother that is intelligent, maybe, or a
Let's say
brother
that
or
mother's not intelligent.
whatever.
Let's say that this person has never had an intelligent mother.
Then I would probably go to the next argument, which is
Right,
as a
exactly.
human being, killing another human makes me feel bad because that's sort of wired into my brain. And doesn't have to do with my values or my intelligence. It's just the
I
way
know it's wired in
most
your
of us
brain.
are made.
I understand. I understand
Yeah.
you think humans are more valuable. I agree with you. But
Yeah.
that's still compatible with being vegan and considering the animals in your moral framework. I agree with you
Sure.
that humans are more valuable than a cow or a pig, but cows and pigs have sufficient value. Why? They're intelligent to some degree. They have personality. They have sentience, feelings, and life and experiences
They
that we
do.
care about. So that's why there's sufficient value there. So that's why
Would,
when we
yeah,
look at a
I
baby
wouldn't
or a
call it
person,
sufficient
we
though.
can't say that it's okay to kill a pig but not a person because they meet the same threshold of value.
To you, but I think we all have our different thresholds.
Then give me the difference. Show me the difference between a pig and a person that justifies killing the pig but not the person.
Well, I already gave it to you. The fact that they're not the same species, the fact that they provide
But
meat
okay,
as meat.
but when it comes, well, so does the person to provide meat. So that's bad. When it comes to the species, I already pointed out to the dog example. You said it's wrong to kill dogs. So it's
Well,
not species.
it's a fairly complicated pros and cons list you have to make here,
I
and
understand it's
I guess the
complicated, but
pros
you're
outweighs
not
the.
doing a good job in showing why you have a reason to kill these animals.
I don't think you do a good job for not eating meat either. I mean,
Okay, that's
the fact
great,
that
but
you do.
you have demonstrated to us today that you don't have an argument. You've demonstrated to us that you're contradictory. You don't have an argument. I'm sorry, but
How did I
you
do
can say
that? Like,
species all you want, but again,
yeah,
you think it's wrong to kill a dog who's a different species. So it's not species.
I'll make it clear in 20 seconds then. You have a pros and a cons list, okay? And the pros outweighs the cons for me. That's my argument. There's
What are
meat
the
that I want
pros?
to eat because I need the energy and I like the taste and so on. And then there's the negatives. The animal suffers and That's basically it. Some environmental.
What's more important, the
effects and
taste?
so on.
What's more important, the taste of somebody or their experience of life?
When it comes to an animal, the taste.
So you think a person's an animal, just so you know, right? Human beings are animals, right?
You know what I'm talking about.
So what you're yeah, right. So what you're saying is that a person's taste is more valuable than their experience of life.
No, I said an animal.
Okay,
and
so
you
then
know
there you
that I'm
go.
talking
So
about
there
a
you
cow
go.
or a pig.
Then there you go. Taste is not more valuable than experience of life.
It is when it comes to pigs and cows.
Why is it? Why does it when it comes to a pig that their experience doesn't matter? What's the difference?
Because they have so little intelligence that I really don't value.
There you go.
Or,
Back to the intelligence. Okay, so when it comes to a mentally disabled person who has no intelligence, would it be okay to kill them if they taste good?
no, because I have no interest in
So then
human
it's
meat
not
because we
taste.
share
So
the
then it's not
species.
taste, sir. It's not taste then. No matter how intelligent
It's not
they are,
only
it's not taste
taste
that matters more.
But as I said before, the pros and cons list.
But
It's not just one pro and one con.
Robert, we already went through all the pros and cons that you gave us today, and we've shown to you why they're all bad. It's called trait equalization. But furthermore, do you think it's better? Do you think another pro might be to help the environment? Do you think another pro might be to reduce the risk of pandemics and outbreaks, which eating animals can cause and contribute? Would perhaps another benefit or pro be the fact that vegans have lower rates of heart disease and cancers and diabetes? Would that be maybe another pro? Would it be perhaps another pro that in a vegan world there's less racism, there's less violence and hatred in the world, which studies also show that would be the case? Is that another pro you might consider in your list?
If that is true, it would be the last one.
So again, there you go. That's great. Look at the pros and cons, and you find that there's way more pros of being vegan and almost no cons of being vegan, and that's why I'm vegan.
Yeah, well, it's not, to me, it's not about the number of arguments, it's the total, right? And
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, you
I'm still
say the
a
same
meat
thing
eater.
twice.
Still knowing all this, I'm still a meat eater because
I understand you're still a meter. I understand one conversation is not going to change you today, but learn. All I want you to do is learn about the animals. Learn that they're not just objects. That they're someone. They have personality and life and experiences, just like a person can have. You're devaluing the animals because you're not connected to them. You don't understand. There's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Well, I understand your position. It's just bad. It's just unjustifiable.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Okay, so then justify
values.
slaughtering pigs, and you have not done that.
The fact that I don't really care about the pigs is justification in my brain.
I know you don't care about pigs. I don't care about pigs either. The problem is that it's not about caring about them, right? I don't care about you, frankly, but I still wouldn't want to murder you, right? I still wouldn't want to slaughter you, even though I don't care about you, right? So it's not about caring.
Well, it is your argument just now.
No, it's not my argument. My argument is not that, oh, you should care. What I'm saying is that you should learn about the animals, and it should strengthen the position that you have. You already agree that we shouldn't slaughter people. You already agree with that, right? It's just a matter of you recognizing that the same morality extends to the other animals. You just don't see it.
Do you remember my arguments for not killing humans and eating humans? And do you remember in that case that they don't
they're
apply
bad. They're
to
bad
animals?
arguments.
The fact that we share we're the same species. And
Yeah. Did you recognize that I showed you that you're being contradictory there because I showed you that there's a dog that you wouldn't want to harm? So it's not species that matters.
Not only, but it's a part of the equation. So when it comes to the dog,
you're not understanding that I've already debunked all your different pros of being a meat eater. Like I've already went through all of them one by one and showed you why they're not. You can't apply that to the pig.
But you can't do it one by one. You can't say, oh well, you wouldn't kill a human with low intellect, and you wouldn't kill a pig, right? Because it has the same intellect.
Right.
That type of argument doesn't work.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's part of an equation with more than one input.
And I went through all the different factors, right? You said intelligence, you said that they're human, you said all these different factors. I went one by one and showed you that they are equivalent in a pig. Or
They're
a cow.
not, Mike. You gotta see it in a bigger perspective with,
You're not.
with
Look,
multiple
you're just
inputs.
rambling right now. To be frank, you know.
Well, that's okay. Well, I think
For me, you
I've
haven't yet to justify slaughtering animals. You have to show why it's okay to do it to the animals, but not people.
I think I've explained it multiple times now, but
All right.
the
Have a
fact
good
that we're not, yeah, okay.
We're not. We're human. I understand that we're human, but you wouldn't kill a dog who's a different species. So it's not about being human that matters. Clearly, if you can't get that, like, if you can't understand that, I can't help you any further.
Hello, Mike.
Hey,
Well, first of all, I want to say that I really like your videos about the physics, and this is the first time I know that you're vegan and debating people about being vegan. But I really like your channel.
thank you.
I've been listening to the people arguing with you. Myself, I'm not vegan. I do think that being vegan is more, let's say, moral. It's better for the environment. It's definitely, if you want to put it in a moral perspective, I agree with you. I do acknowledge that. But it is just not, I mean, you don't expect everybody to be as good as you are. You don't expect everybody to have that dedication. I have many friends who are vegan. I can tell you that people who were vegan since birth, they have no problem with it. But people who change to being vegan after, like, in their 20s or 30s, they have a lot of problem with that, and like they suffer, and every now and then they have like a relapse and they go back to eat meat and stuff like that. So it's, you can
Well,
say that
there's
it's,
a there's a hormone, there's a protein in cheese, for example, that actually makes you addicted to it. It's such a concentrated amount. So it actually makes you addicted to cheese. So that's why there's a reason why people go on and off from off of veganism. You also have societal pressure, right? You have lots of people saying, "Oh, who cares about going vegan?" So you're like, "Oh shit, okay, maybe they're right," right? You succumb to that. So there's many factors. So you can't just blame veganism. You have to recognize that there's other factors that you're not accounting for.
yeah.
I
I
agree
mean,
with you that not everybody's going to be vegan, but that's not. We don't need that to happen. Even if 10% of people were vegan, the world would be way better, right? It's not relevant how many people are vegan today.
I would say if like more people were vegan, I think that will be more economic nowadays, and absolutely
It'd be
like
a
better
way
for
better
the
world.
environment.
Yeah, it'd be a way better world.
For the environment, it's just like something that you, it's very hard to do. Like it's and I want to bring point to, I want to ask you. Actually, first of all, I have some criticism to your argument.
Yeah, but I'm looking for a debate on veganism.
Yes.
What's your argument?
You're comparing the suffering of animals and making it just like the suffering of humans. And I think this is an extreme point of view.
I'm not. I haven't actually done that. I'm not saying that their suffering is equal to our suffering. What I'm saying is that they are suffering sufficiently enough to to consider them in our moral frameworks. That's all. I'm not saying that they're equal to us in every way.
No, but the way you're arguing with the guest is that you, whenever somebody tells you that they don't, let's say that they don't care about the pig suffering, you tell them like, oh, how about why you don't why do you care about the human suffering, for example?
Yeah. I'm trying to establish a grounding for why they think it's wrong to harm a person but not an animal. And what I'll do from there is show you that there's no difference between the pig and the person in terms of them experiencing suffering in principle.
Possibly, but not exactly. I mean, yes. I mean, our nervous system is very similar to
No. In principle,
mammals.
they suffer, right? The fact of suffering is important, right? And I'm not saying that they exactly feel suffering as we do. In fact, there are some ways in which they feel more suffering than we do. In fact, for example, pigs can hear more sounds than we. So in these factories, you have all these loud machines. These poor pigs and animals, they have never heard silence because these machines are just constantly on 24/7. That's suffering that we don't experience. So you have to remember that the animals might actually be suffering more than we in many ways. So that's a reason alone to realize that we shouldn't be doing this. But
Yes, but also like you have to take in consideration that we all do it. A lot of like carnivores do it in nature, and
right, but we're not Tarzan. We don't live in nature. We live in societies where we have toilets and TVs and delivery.
correct.
Okay, so
But we
that
still
doesn't apply
have
to us, right? We're not Tarzan anymore.
yet. Well, it. I mean, it. After all, it's a personal choice. I mean, if you don't want to eat meat, or you
I
want.
agree. It's a choice, just like murdering is a choice, but it's the wrong choice.
No, here we come to the extremism. That's what I wanted to.
No.
to
I'm not.
point
I'm not. I'm not comparing murder to eating an animal. What I'm comparing is the fact that they're both choices. They're just wrong
Yes,
choices.
but the degree, you're comparing probably two, let's say, notions that have a commonality in certain things, but they're vastly different. Like you say,
I
oh,
agree. I agree that there's a difference between murdering a person and killing an animal. The problem is that I'm showing you that they're the same as a choice. I did that to display that they're both a choice and they're both wrong choices, no matter the severity.
yes, but I think it's unfair. Like your comparison is unfair in many of the cases that I've heard tonight, because you compare things that are so different in their severity, and making them sound as if they are one thing, and I think that's unfair.
No, I think that you're confused because I'm not saying that an animal suffering is exactly the same. I'm saying that they suffer, period. They have suffering. Therefore, we shouldn't increase that suffering.
Okay, okay.
That's all I'm saying. Right? It's not that hard.
All right. My next question is, what do you feel? How do you feel like if you're vegan, you don't want to eat meat, you don't want to kill animal, or have them suffer because you don't want to eat them? How do you feel about the medications you take
I
that
use
have been
medications right now.
tested? Well, I'm glad that you're healthy and you're not, but you might have, you might
You're asking
be.
if there might be a medication that has animal products in it?
Sorry.
You're asking if I might be taking a medication that might have an animal product in it?
Not necessarily. Well, probably yes. That's
Oh,
one.
yeah, yeah. If you're saying, oh, well, how about the medicine that has animal products? Well, clearly, what you should be doing in that situation is looking for other options that can supplement you with those medications without the animal product. But if there's no other option, if you depend on some kind of inhaler or some kind of medication that you need to survive, well, clearly you're justified in using that medicine with the animal product, right?
But
That little that little piece of animal product is worth it your life, right? Like that little piece is okay for your life. But when it comes to consuming steak or all those other meats, like that's not worth it. Like you don't need that, and that's the difference.
well, I can use your way of argument now, and I say that okay, this is a choice. You are deciding to make an animal suffer in order to have a benefit on your life, whether it's
I don't see. I see very few situations where an animal needs to suffer for our benefit. There's almost I can't even think of any, except for perhaps if you're dying or you need to survive.
well, I work in the medical field, and everything that we do in the medical field is based on animal trials. I mean, even if the
Yeah, but
medication.
it's not necessary. And I've actually talked to a bioscientist, biologist. I don't know if you know him, but it's on my YouTube channel. I had an interview with him, and he describes how animal testing is prevalent, but it doesn't need to be prevalent. In fact, we have simulations now that can simulate it better than animal trials. So we can wean off of animal trials and animal testing. It's very feasible for us to do so. So it's not an argument for continuing doing it.
I think a lot of people will be happy if we let go of animal trials, but I don't think
We can do it.
can trust, let's say, a medication that has not been tried on animals.
I
Or
agree, but that's a fundamental problem in the way that our governments work, right? The government isn't vegan, so they don't see that as a problem, right? We do. All we're trying to say is that's wrong, and we don't need to be doing that anymore, right? So you're not really showing me why that's justified. You're just saying, "Oh, we do it, okay," but it doesn't mean that we should continue doing it.
yeah, I think me and you both agree that there is a degree of suffering that needs to be accepted to
Yeah,
an
I agree, but it's not just about suffering, right? Veganism isn't just about, oh, let's reduce suffering. It's also about maintaining their rights, maintaining animal rights. Like, animals should not be exploited, right? They shouldn't be just used because they have bodies. That's the point as well. It's not just that suffering matters, it does, but it's also the fact that we shouldn't exploit them, just like we shouldn't exploit a person. There's no
I totally
difference. There's no difference, and for that, I'm vegan. There's no reason to not be vegan.
I agree with you. I don't think there is a
Okay,
reason
thank
not
you.
to.
Thank you. I just want to move on now because I get some real opposition here. But thank you for your comments. All right, one more guest. Let's see. Hello.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
I don't have a problem with you being vegan. I just don't see anything wrong with eating animals.
Yeah. Do you see anything wrong with eating a person?
Not really, no. I think humans.
Okay. Next. But look, when people say, "Oh, I don't care," right? I don't care about that. But how about the other factors of being vegan? Do you care about the environment? Do you care about maintaining our human species and not having pandemics happen all the time? Right? Do you care about the environmental benefits, the health benefits, the economic benefits? There's many other benefits for being vegan, not just I don't care about the animals. Hey, how are you?
Hi, hello.
Hi.
So your point is that killing an animal is bad, right? Like
For no
animal
good
suffering is
reason.
bad
Yes, if you don't have to.
if you don't have to. Okay. And your other point is we're kind of like similar to animals. That's why we shouldn't kill them.
We are animals.
Okay, so we are animals and a pig is an animal. So why isn't the pig president?
Why isn't a baby president? The same reason. They're not rational an adult person is.
What? No. Okay. Why isn't a pig president?
For the same reasons a baby isn't president. They're not rational up to an adult standard.
What's the difference between me being a president and a pig being a president?
You're more rational than a pig. What's your point, though? Oh, okay. Look, it's okay to come up here and say those things. Get them out, right? It's okay to learn. Don't say cooked. No, I don't want this to be a fight, man. I really don't want this to be a fight. I want to help people learn about why animals aren't just objects. That's all. Hey, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Great.
You want me to justify eating animals?
Sure.
They taste good. It's tasty.
Okay.
The protein. You need protein from them. How else you gonna get protein?
Plants have all the protein you need. Plants have all the protein you need. But when it comes to taste, what if a dog tastes good? Would it be okay to kill a dog and eat it?
Chinese do it.
No, to you. Do you think killing a dog if they taste good would be okay?
For me, nah. It looks frowned upon. I frown upon it.
Right. So just because something tastes good doesn't make it okay to eat it.
Well, if the population of them are eating cows, then why not join the population? They're eating cows. Everyone's doing it. Not everyone's not eating dogs.
You're saying everyone is doing it, so I can too?
Basically.
Okay. Everybody owns a slave, so why can't I own a slave too? Good? To check out?
It makes sense. I mean, no.
No,
No.
right? Okay, great. So just because everybody has a slave doesn't make slavery okay, right? Just because everybody around me is graping doesn't make it okay for me to grape, right? So that's not a good argument.
So why would I go vegan? Like, what's the reason? Just because they're animals?
The better question is, why are you not vegan? Because if you think it's wrong to eat a person or a dog, then you obviously think it's wrong to eat a pig or a cow. There's no difference. You should easily extend this moral consideration to the other animals.
True.
Anything else?
How was your day?
Pretty good. All right, folks, I keep saying one more, but these are too quick. Hey, how are you? Hello? Who's saying Mike's scared of me? Spencer? I ain't scared of nobody.
Hey there, buddy. What's going on, Mike? So, my
How old are you?
justification, I'm 18.
What year were you born?
2006.
Okay.
Yeah, so, my justification is that, like, eating meat, for me, there would be, like, no significant impact on, like, how many animals are actually killed.
Oh, so you're saying if I just eat one animal, that's just one animal, right?
Yeah, because, like, it's a $1 trillion industry, so
Right.
they're just going to subsidize any demands.
So you're saying is if I just grape one person, I mean that's just one person out of a billion. I mean it's not going to matter in the grand
No,
scheme, right?
you're
Is this
confusing
what
what
you're
I'm
saying?
saying. No, you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not actually the one that's killing the animal directly. I'm just the one that's paying the finances to have the animals killed, right?
Right.
And there's not a significant threshold if I stop buying meat.
You're just ordering. You're just ordering the Schnazis to kill those other people.
No,
directly
you're
doing
not.
it. Right.
No. But like you're not understanding. There's like a certain threshold of like how many people need to stop eating meat for the
No, there
animals.
is. I mean, yeah, you're a bit confused here.
It's just basic economics. Not confusing.
That's not how we base our morality, right? We don't say, oh, there's a certain number of people that have to follow this for it to be good. No, it can be good regardless of how many people do it.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. It's not an appeal to consensus. What I'm saying is that the animals aren't actually gonna stop being killed if I stop eating
Well, they
meat.
do, because every time you consume meat, you're demanding more supply to be made for you, right? The
Sure.
supply of these animals. Hold on, Spencer.
But in $1 trillion.
Hold on.
Okay, I got it. My bad.
Billions of people exist in the world. Billions of them demand animal products. So we have to grow and breed billions of animals per year around the world. If we stop doing that, there wouldn't be any animals that we produce anymore. Just like if we stopped all buying phones tomorrow, nobody would be making phones anymore. There's no money to be made. So That's why, precisely because it's an industry, is the reason why we should leverage it and stop doing it so that it directly stops the supply.
Yeah, sure. I agree with that. The whole point is that when you have an $800 billion industry that's projected to be over $1 trillion in like 2027, they're gonna be able to like subsidize a lot of that demand, right? And at the same time, the fact that people are so like, you're not gonna convince the majority of the population to go vegan within our lifetimes, probably, just because of like
I don't understand with that, why that's even relevant to the question.
religion,
It doesn't matter how many people
traditions,
become
etc.
vegan. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not concerned about how many people go vegan tomorrow. What I'm concerned about is you and me in this conversation right now. If you care about the economy so much, well, you understand that there are economic benefits to going vegan. For example, the healthcare industry spends trillions of dollars per year, or billions of dollars per year, on people's health. A lot of it heart disease caused by meat and dairy, or red meat pretty particularly. So if we all went vegan, we'd actually save billions of dollars per year. And there's studies on this.
Sure.
One called the Analysis and Evaluation of the Health and Climate Change. Hold on, I'm pulling up a study. Yeah, Analysis and Evaluation of the Health and Climate Change Co-Benefits of Dietary Change. Right, this is a study done by Oxford, which demonstrates we would save about $700 billion over the next 20, 30 years by being vegan. Right, so there are economic benefits if you're concerned about that.
I'm not concerned about like the economics, and I don't really care about like.
So then what justifies starving animals?
The point is, there's no causality between me eating meat and like other people becoming vegan. And the whole point is there needs to be a certain threshold of people who like turn vegan for there to be like a significant impact on how many animals actually stop getting killed. If I stop eating meat, even if I like agree morally it's wrong, there's not going to be any like there's not going to be any projection onto how many like animals actually get killed. So for me, I'd rather just benefit personally.
There is. The average vegan saves about 100, 200, 300 animals per year.
Where does this statistic come from?
You can look at, there's many sources out there like that, but there's one, for example, vegetarians in the UK show discrepant environmental impacts, which demonstrate that vegans would save way more land. They would save a lot more resources like that, indexed to how many animals there are, right? There's other studies like that show the environmental impacts that show that vegans do save about hundreds of animals per year approximately. But the point is that we don't take the same moral principle with other things, right? For example, you would never say, oh, well, one person I grape extra. It's in the grand scheme of things, there's no projection of how many people that I have to change to do that. So I'm just going to continue graping people. There's just only one person. That's a very bad, would you think that's a good or bad moral principle?
I don't think that's directly analogous because I'm not like actually killing the animal directly. I would be like paying for it.
You are directly causing the animal to die and suffer.
Okay, sure. So
I'm paying for it to die. So you are causing direct harm.
I don't think these two things have like the same. We should extend like the same moral consideration to these like two different things. I don't think that like morally equivalent. Like someone being like raped and like killing an animal.
I'm not saying that it's morally equivalent. What I'm saying is that the principle that you're abiding by is wrong. By your own concession, that we shouldn't grape because there's only one person we're graping. Just like we shouldn't eat an animal because there's only one more animal.
Yeah, sure, but like, okay, so my original contention was how much that's like transferred over to how many animals are being killed. If you're saying that I like as a vegan, if I go vegan, I'll be able to like save animals like significantly or like within a certain threshold, even one, then sure, like I think that's fair.
Yeah, there's another study here called. Let me pull it up here. Against inefficacy objections, the real economic impact of individual consumer choices in animal agriculture. This study is actually the one that just shows you how many animals are dying.
Wait, hold on. Can you read out the study again? I want to actually search this up.
It's in the Food Ethics Journal, called "Against Inefficacy Objections: The Real Economic Impact of Individual Consumer Choices on Animal Agriculture."
Alright,
Okay,
I'll read that. So, okay.
that'll give you that gives you an argument against what you're saying.
Okay.
Gives you your actual impacts, your real world impacts on animal agriculture.
Alright, but like, okay, my final question, do you see, like, a significant portion of, like, the population becoming vegan? Or do you think, like, there's too much, like...
I do. We don't need 100% of people to go vegan. Even 10% of people would drastically change the world. Like even 10%. We don't need everybody. And so I don't even think about that.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. All right. Mike, it's not fair that you're the only one citing sources. Yeah. It is fair because, look, I have a computer next to me, and I'm prepared a lot more than the other people. But so I understand why they don't have sources, but they should. They really should. No plants don't suffer. Thank you guys for watching. Do you think abortion is wrong? No, I think abortion is a right to your own body. Now, practically speaking, abortion is something that we ought to allow and have access to, because if you stop people from getting abortions, more women, there's studies on this that show more women die, more babies die. So just on an evidence-based basis, more women and babies die if you stop and restrict abortion access. Look at Texas. The Texas abortion ban has, for example, here's a study called Infant Deaths Study. Hold on one second. Infant deaths after Texas 2021 ban on abortion in early pregnancy, which demonstrates that about 10% more women and children died because they stopped abortion access. That's in 1 year. That's 1,000. That's almost 1,000 people. That's not right. You know, so if you're for saving babies, then allow abortions to occur, because look, abortions are something you can't stop. People have always had abortions for thousands of years, and they will continue to, because it's their body, and people can get damaged. They can get killed if they don't get an abortion. Women are concerned about their bodies. I wouldn't want somebody in my body. I don't care who it is. I don't care if Jesus Christ was in my body. I don't want him in there. Get him out, right? That's how I approach this. I approach this based on the deontic value of, in principle, bodily autonomy, and as well as the fact that on a practical basis, it's not helping anybody by stopping abortions. No, the study accounted for the abortions that would have happened. So no, don't say more babies would have died. No, the study accounts for that. But nice try. And there's multiple studies like this on the Texas abortion ban, which show the same thing. So to me, I think that's a clear answer as to why we should allow abortion access. Now, we can disagree in the gray areas, the amount of time, but in principle, I think that we should maintain bodily autonomy, period. Thank you, Evan. Thank you. How nice is it to not have to listen to that every 2 seconds, right? Thank you for the Venmo. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Vegan lacks omega-3. Nope. Omega-3s are in beans. They're in avocados. Fruits have omega-3s, like berries have omega-3s. Nuts, seeds, all have omega-3s in sufficient quantities. You don't need to eat animals for that. B12, you can just get a list of vegan B12 sources. Here it is. So you have nutritional yeast, chlorella, spirulina, seaweed like nori, mushroom, shiitake, portobello, tempeh, tofu, fortified foods. All of those have B12 in them. You don't have to eat animals. So, nope, veganism doesn't lead to lower testosterone. Studies have shown that it's very similar, if not more, in the vegan than the meat eater. I'm vegan, but I couldn't agree with one thing you debated. I don't know if you're vegan then. You clearly have low testosterone. Nope, I don't. How would you tell that? Veganism leads to higher rates of eyeglasses? I think now y'all just making shit up on a whim. Well, I do have a study, by the way, now that you remind me, I do have a study showing that red meat raises the risk of heart disease by 30%. Red meat intake and risk of type 2 diabetes in a prospective cohort study of United States females and males in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Ooh, that's a good study right there. Plants have plant-based defense chemicals. Right. But that doesn't mean that they feel pain, right? Just because a plant has defense chemicals doesn't mean it feels or experiences something. Plants don't have nervous systems or neurons. Those are what's required to feel something. Right? The reason why you feel is because when you touch something, those signals are getting sent through your skin receptor cells into your brain, and your brain is processing that as touch. See? Without a brain, you can't feel. Without a neural network or a neural system, you don't feel anything. So not only does a plant not have a brain, it doesn't have nociceptors, it doesn't have any feeling receptors, it doesn't have a nervous system, it has no way to uptake these senses, these signals. It has nothing. It's just a plant. But even if you're right that plants are like feeling pains all the time, it's still better to go vegan because vegans kill less plants. There's just no reason to not be vegan, right? So, look, guys, and fundamentally here, you guys are not understanding that we are animals, and we're not that different from the other animals. Pigs, cows, chickens. They're not just objects. They can feel. They can think. They have dreams. Just like you and me, they have dreams. They have personalities. We're very, very similar. There's no reason to harm them. No reason at all. And even if you don't care about the animals, even if you think, oh, Mike's just stupid about the animal thing. Well, okay. Do you care about the environment? Go vegan. Do you care about your health? Go vegan. It would likely increase. Do you care about the economy? Go vegan. The economy would tremendously benefit by being vegan, having a vegan society. Do you care about people and having them be treated fairly? They go vegan. Because studies show that as more people go vegan, they recognize that they shouldn't harm, they shouldn't degrade others. They shouldn't see others as something inferior, as we do to the animals, right? The planetary consciousness rises when you realize that there's no reason to degrade or belittle. We're all personal. We're all someone, you know? So we're all going to die when we're going to gone. Who cares about the environment? Do you care about your children? Do you care about other people in front of you? Do you care about maintaining society? I do. I care about I care about us not going extinct and having people in our future live prosperous, fulfilling lives. Experience is valuable. Why are you alive right now? Because you value experience. You value experiencing this. Watching TikTok, going on, vacations, or going, having a career. You value these experiences. Why would you strip that away from future generations? It clearly makes sense that you care about that. So it's another reason to be vegan, right? You're not even realizing it, but every time you argue against veganism, it leads you back to you should be vegan. So and it's not that hard to change. I did it in one day. One day, I just stopped eating animal products. That's it. I realized I was doing something wrong and I stopped. It doesn't take a brain surgeon. It doesn't take a nuclear scientist. If you love a dog, go on TikTok and you scroll through videos, people saying that they view their dog as family. I hear that all the time. Family. Dogs are family. Well, clearly you can view a dog as someone, not an object. Someone in your family, a member of your family. That's somebody. So if you can view a dog in that way, why can't you view a pig or a chicken or a cow, who tend to be very, very, very comparable in intelligence? Pigs are very intelligent. In fact, they're smarter than dogs. Pigs are very aware and conscious. I agree, plants are living, but they're not sentient. They're not conscious, right? Because after all, that's what we value. We value experience, right? We value the ability to live and experience something about that life. And all animals experience that way, at least 99% of them. There's some gray areas there, but if animals aren't meant to be eaten, why are they made of food? That's very funny, but the problem is it's wrong. You're made of food too. You're made of meat. Your meat is no different than a cow's meat or a pig's meat. In fact, it's more nutritious, more bioavailable. And believe it or not, there's a study on this which shows the human body is full of nutrition. But nobody would suggest that eating eating a human body for breakfast is acceptable. Clearly, that's wrong. In the same sense, it's wrong to eat a cow. You can get nutrition from all plants. Is it unethical to eat non-sentient animals? Yeah, this is a gray area, right? There's some vegans who think it's okay to eat shellfish, for example, because they don't think that they have sentience. Okay, I can grant you that. The way I approach it is, I don't know if they're sentient. I'm just going to be cautious and not eat it anyway. Plus, it's also bad for the environment to eat shellfish, right? So there's a whole host of issues that could arise, but everybody approaches it differently. So, what do I eat? I had Chipotle today. I had a Chipotle bowl today. Beans, rice, guac. It's all vegan, my friends. And tomorrow I'm gonna have vegan sushi. It's good. There's so many options now, right? There's so many vegan options. It's not even funny. Pronunciation was terrible. Okay, well, I'm not. I'm not the best in that regard. Monocrops destroy ecosystems. I agree. That's why you should go vegan, because vegans use less crops, especially less monocrops. Think about it. Most corn, most wheat is grown for cows, for their feed. We feed our animals not grass. They get mostly fed grains. And we if we all went vegan, we'd stop that. We'd reduce significantly the amount of crops we grow.